What's going on, everybody? We're going to talk about SnyderCon 2023. That's this weekend. Some people seem to be excited, some people don't. Let's talk about what to expect from Zack Snyder and friends. We're also going to talk about all the DCU news and DCU talk that has come out this past week, from The Flash to James Gunn, Superman, and so much more. So sit back and enjoy this episode of Bridging the Geekdoms. What's going on, everybody? Robert, Bridging the Geekdoms here. Man, this week, this is a tough one to do. Let me tell you, I just not feeling it. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. But how are all of you doing? Hopefully you're doing well. Yeah, we got some stuff to talk about. Zack Snyder, SnyderCon, or his Full Circle event starts tomorrow, the Friday, April 28th, and it goes for 3 days. So we're going to talk about that, what to expect, what we think we're going to get out of it, what the fans should expect to get out of it. We're also going to take a look at the Flash trailer, just kind of discuss the, I want to say, epicness of it, because it is a damn good trailer. So we're going to talk about that. And, James Gunn, look, for as much as I am looking forward to what he's doing in the DCU, he just seems to constantly put his foot in his mouth. But we're going to talk about the latest controversy surrounding James Gunn as well. But yeah, and now if you're somebody who's new to the show, make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, share this with your friends and family. We are trying to hit 2,000 YouTube subscribers. I'd love to hit it before the end of April, but I don't think it's going to happen. But yeah, I'd love to hit 2,000. We're about 120 away or so, 120, 130 away. So yeah, I would definitely love to see that. And yeah, we'll definitely go from there, and hopefully we get that 2,000. That'd be amazing. You can also find us on all the podcatching apps and everything like that, social media. So make sure you follow us there as well. And hello, Rumble. This is the first time I think we're going truly live on Rumble. So yeah, if you're somebody watching on Rumble, drop a comment, drop a hey, what's up type of thing, something like that. That'd be great. That'd be great. But okay, let's get on to it here. So we know that this weekend, like I said, this weekend is SnyderCon 2023, and the Direct is kind enough to have written an article on the schedule of events on what's going to be coming this weekend with SnyderCon. So the full schedule for Zack Snyder's Full Circle Justice League event was revealed mere days before its official kickoff. After having moved on from his time shepherding the DCU, Snyder is set to celebrate everything from his work within the franchise in a new fan event that has been dubbed Full Circle. Zack Snyder Full Circle event schedule. Live panels will be discussions on each of the 3 films being shown with Snyder, alongside what has only been teased as guests. The following is the list of Full Circle panels. Fans can watch online. These times may vary slightly due to post-movie setup, according to the website. So at 8:45 p.m. Pacific time, or 11:45 p.m. Eastern time on Friday, April 28th, Man of Steel. Kicking off the Full Circle festivities will be a screening and live panel focused on Zack Snyder's DCU debut, Man of Steel. And yeah, they're going to, fans will get a chance to ask questions and learn more about anything you want to know about Man of Steel. You'll be able to ask Zack Snyder and some of his guests who are there, whatever you want to ask them. Let's see. That starts at 8:45 p.m. I'm guessing that's when the movie starts. 8:45, 11:45 Eastern. Or is that the panel? I don't know. I'm not sure. Is the panel like, will the movie be playing while they do the panel? Or are they going to watch the movie, then do a panel? It's a little interesting. It's on Saturday, April 29th at 6:15 p.m. Pacific or 9:15 p.m. Eastern. Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, coming back to the big screen as a part of this event is the super powered heavyweight match, Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice. The Q&A could see any number of big names pop up to talk about the DC epic, with Dawn of Justice sporting A-list talents like Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, and Gal Gadot. And then finally, the big event that everybody is probably looking forward to more than anything else is on Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Full Circle will mark one of the first times fans can take in all 242 minutes of Zack Snyder's Justice League. This live panel will offer glimpses into what went into Snyder getting to realize his Justice League vision and how the director closed out his DC tenure in 2021. Every live stream can be viewed on the official Full Circle fan event website. So who's going to be there? Well, it's rumored that Michael Shannon will be there. Some people are speculating that it's possible that Henry Cavill will show up, maybe even Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot. I have to say, when it comes to the guests, I think they're going to go all out with this. I think you're going to see, maybe on the first day, I think you'll see the man who played General Swanwick, Martian Manhunter. I can't remember his name right now, but I think he will be there day one for Man of Steel, as will most likely Henry Cavill. I think then day two, we might get another glimpse of Henry Cavill there, probably Ben Affleck and maybe even Gal Gadot. And then I think day three, we'll see people like Ray Porter, Ray Fisher, maybe even Ezra Miller. Doubtful on that, but that's a possibility. So I think they're going to kind of split it up so they're not all there at one time, or maybe they do. I mean, you got to expect Jason Momoa to show up at some point too, because he and Zach are buddies. So it's going to be interesting for sure to see what happens, because honestly, this all hinges, everything, the success of this hinges on the guests that are there and how willing and open they are to talking about everything. I can tell you this. This is going to be a fun event. I wish it wasn't so late at night tomorrow, because I got stuff to do. Like I can't be staying up until 2 a.m. watching this. So I'm a little disappointed that they pushed it like that. Honestly, what they should have done a 2-day event. They should have done Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman movies back to back, and then had a panel about those two movies on Saturday, and then Sunday have done the Justice League one. Because doing it so late on a Friday, I don't like that. I don't like that. Shame on you, Zach. Shame on you. No, this is going to be a great time. But what should we expect? Are we going to get an announcement that the Snyderverse is restored? Absolutely not. Are we going to get an announcement that Zach is coming back to the DC to work with James Gunn? Absolutely not. What we are going to get is we're going to get a lot of discussion and a lot of cryptic untruths about the future of the Snyderverse. I hate to put it like that, but Zack Snyder he's known to be cryptic. He's known to give half truths and not just tell you what's going on. And the reason for that is because he knows how to play his fans. He knows how to play them. He knows what they want to hear. So he tells them kind of what they want to hear without telling them what they want to hear. And the fans eat it up. So that's why he keeps doing it. And hey, look, I will criticize him for doing that, because that is a big part of the toxicity and the disrespect that we see from the Snyder boys. But he knows how to play his fans. He knows how to work them. And he's an entertainer. He's as much an entertainer as really anybody in the business. So he knows what he's doing in that regard. look, if you're somebody going into this weekend thinking there's going to be some big announcement about the continuation of the Snyderverse, please just temper your expectations. I would love to be wrong. I would love for Zack at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League on Sunday to be asked by somebody, "So, can we expect to see more?" And he goes, "Well, yes, but I don't think we're going to get that." It's, as we've said multiple times, it is counterproductive to what James Gunn and DC Studios is doing right now. They need to look forward. They need to look to the future. They need to continue pushing forward with their plans. To have a separate universe that is stuck in the past, that is stuck in a time period that is built on so much negativity and disdain and fan, just they didn't enjoy, the majority general of the general audience did not enjoy what Snyder was creating. You can't stick with that. That's not to say that I don't think that they should at some point in time, but right now is not the time because the focus needs to be on what James Gunn is building. It's just what it is. Now, does that mean that they couldn't announce a graphic novel or an animated series for Max or something like that? Hey, that's possible. I will not rule that out. But a live action continuation, I will say with 99.9% certainty, we're not getting any kind of announcement that that is going to be continued, especially with the recent, announcement just a few months ago that Henry Cavill won't be back. You're not going to announce that, and then 3 months later, it turns out he is back. Now, I will say, James Gunn, it would be awesome if James Gunn showed up to that. If James Gunn showed up to the event this weekend, I think that would be phenomenal. I think that would be huge, huge for him and Zack in the DCU going forward. In what capacity, I couldn't tell you. And if it was to announce that they were doing an animated version of the Snyderverse continuation or something like that, that would be great. But that's probably not going to happen. Probably not going to happen. But you know who is going to be there? You know who is going to be there? Mr. Sean O'Connell, the writer of the Restore the Snyderverse book, announced today on Twitter, on social media, "I'm honored and humbled to reveal that my friends, Zack Snyder and Debbie Snyder, asked me to moderate the post-screening Q&A for Sunday's screening of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Given our journey, it's a true full circle moment. Watch all 3 sessions." Look, here's the thing. I think this is hilarious for a couple reasons. So I had Sean O'Connell on my show, 2 years ago? 3 years ago? 2 years ago? Something like that. Number of years ago, he was on my show. He's a cool guy. And the one thing that people need to know about him is he is a film pundit. He's a critic. He's a journalist. That is where his bread and butter comes from. So when his book came out and it wasn't as telling as it would have been nice to have seen, it didn't delve into the backstabbing issues of Warner Brothers on Zack Snyder. It didn't do much of anything when it came to shedding light on how bad Warner Brothers was. A lot of people got upset with that, specifically the Snyder Boys. And the Snyder Boys, this was way back at the beginning of the Snyder Boys starting to claw their way out of the Snyder fandom and try and be the more vocal sect of the fandom. But they really did not like the fact that Sean O'Connell had all this access. And then there was a little, I don't know, mishap or issue between Sean O'Connell and Ray Fisher. And look, Ray Fisher, he's a good actor. He's a good actor. But I have seen in the last 3 years that he's more problem than anything else. And that's not to say that asking for accountability and requesting that things get handled that were bad for him don't get addressed. Just the way that he's gone about it. And there was an issue that happened with him and Sean O'Connell, and he blew it up. He threw it on social media. And look, I get that people love to use social media as their outlet. I know people who, if it's not on social media, did it really happen type of people. And that is just ridiculous. Handle your shit behind closed doors. Handle your shit with the person that you're having a problem with. You don't need to throw all your dirty laundry on social media. But that's what Ray Fisher does. And then all it does is it riles up the Snyder boys. It riles up the fandom that wants to find new and more reasons to hate, to spread toxicity. And that's my problem with Ray Fisher. I was also told a while ago that there was a lot of stuff that Sean O'Connell did with Zach and that Zach wasn't happy with. But this here kind of tells me a different story. And that's the thing. People were looking at Sean O'Connell as, oh, he just wrote that book for money, just to get notoriety. He was one of the people calling that there was no Snyder Cut. He was one of the people that said it would never be released. There's a difference between people who are saying it's not going to happen, there is no Snyder Cut, to people who are saying, you're all dumbasses for thinking it will, or stuff like that. Sean O'Connell wasn't a negative person in that regard. There's a lot of people who weren't negative. They were just speaking what has been the normal trend in Hollywood for 100 years, that things like that don't happen. The Snyder Cut being released, that's something that doesn't happen. So Sean O'Connell, John Campea, whomever you want to talk about, they said, yes, the Snyder Cut was not coming out. I would push back on them because I believed it was coming, but it was in their right to say it wasn't and that they didn't believe it would. So people were mad at him about that. And he wrote the book and made money on this book. I don't know why. I really enjoyed the book. I was lucky enough to get an early copy. I was able to read it before it came out. I got to write a review on it. I got to interview him. It was amazing. I loved it. He's a great guy. He really wanted to do something for the fans, and he enjoyed the Snyder Cut. I don't know what else to say about it, but those of the Snyder boys out there that are upset that Sean O'Connell is going to be there, I just think it's kind of funny. I do. I think it's funny because, again, we just see more and more how it's never been about Zack Snyder. It's never been about getting a movie, an artistic integrity. It's about boosting yourself. It's always been about what you want. And that's not what the movement was about. And there's a part of me that wishes the Snyder Cut never got released because we wouldn't be where we are now in this fandom. But yeah, Sean O'Connell, really interesting. This should be it should be an interesting weekend. It really should be. I think that we're going to see a lot of cool things. I think it's going to... Zach will open up about things that he's never opened up about. That's what he does. And I'm sure somebody will let something slip about something here or there. But again, everybody is going into this weekend thinking that they're going to announce the Snyderverse is restored. And it's just not going to happen. I personally, what I truly, truly, truly hope happens at Full Circle event, SnyderCon this weekend, what I truly hope happens, I hope Zack Snyder is man enough to sit there and talk up James Gunn and talk about, if he's asked about the future of DC films, I hope Zack is willing to sit there and say, my boy Jimmy, he's got great ideas and great plans over there. I'm really looking forward to see what he does. and leave it at that. Don't allow there to be any toxicity, any hate, anything brought out of this to utilize against Warner Brothers, DC Studios, or James Gunn. If that happens, I will be 100% done. 100% done with the fandom, because this is an event to celebrate what Zach has created, not what could come or what people want to come. It's a celebration of what he has created. It's not an event to go there and to get ammunition to go against DC Studios. This is a celebration of what Zach has created. But I know the Snyder boys out there. I know how they are. I know with undoubted certainty that they're going to turn this around in some form or fashion and say, look at all the tickets that were sold. Look at all the people that were there. Right? There was more people there than at the Shazam premiere. Blah, 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 blah. And that's what's going to happen. And it's a damn shame, because you were doing the very thing that you fought against just 3 years ago. But let me know your thoughts on Full Circle event. What are you expecting to see? What are you hoping to see at the Full Circle event? I think it'd be kind of cool. I got to admit, I'm looking forward to hearing all the information that comes out of it. I'm not going to be able to watch it live. Hopefully, I'll be able to. They'll have it replayed or rerun or something like that, where I can go and watch it after the fact. Like I said, I'm not staying up until 1, 2 in the morning watching that, because look, I'm 37. I got kids. I got responsibilities. So I'm not going to be standing up all night watching those. But I hope, if you watch it, I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's what you want to see. I hope you temper your expectations and not expect that you're going to get something that you aren't going to get. But hey, hopefully it's a fun time. All right, so next what we're going to do, we're going to take a look at this Flash trailer, because, well, I got to say, I really enjoyed it. Now, there's no audio. I didn't want to put audio on. I don't want to risk getting copyright striked or whatever, because, that happens from time to time. But, this is the same shot where we're starting off the Flash trailer. Same shot that we've seen many times, with the two Barry Allens walking into Wayne Manor, which, hey, that's fine. You have Michael Keaton there talking about how he doesn't, or that his parents were killed in front of him. You know what? Screw it. Let's see if you can hear the audio. Talks about the pain that there is from losing your family, your mother and your father, and made him who he was. It's very, very, very 1989 Batman centric in the beginning of this trailer, which I think is to be expected. We know that he's going to be a big part of this movie. The shot of all the bat suits here, which is great, and the man with the long hair, that is absolutely going to be Bruce Wayne. Obviously, he has long hair. He's going to be probably retired for a number of years, and it's about pulling him back into helping Barry. But it's this great shot of all these, and we've seen this as a still image, or maybe it was the first trailer we saw this just from like this angle here, I think, is where we saw it. We didn't see the man standing in front looking at everything. So that's pretty cool. And we see Michael Keaton, he's impressed that Barry Allen actually found a way, that he actually did it. He was actually able to go back in time and change the past and save the one he loves, or the ones he loved. But in doing so, he changes the future. The age-old tale of time travel stories. Again, this trailer, it is a lot of fun. I really like the trailer. I think it looks great. You can see the heart, you can see the soul, you can see the emotion that you're going to get in this trailer, which is something that I think a lot of people don't want to see in comic book movies for some reason. I just don't get it. I don't understand why people are so against feeling anything. Not everything has to be dark and gloomy, but kind of looks like this movie might be both dark and gloomy, emotional, and exciting and funny at times. Some people were criticizing the way that we see Barry Allen running and how he stops, and he's got yellow lightning now, and it doesn't look like what Zack Snyder was doing with him. And it's like, guys, it's a different it's a different director. It happens. Go and take a look at the Marvel films, and you can tell that the directors are given some leeway. Take a look, Iron Man 1 and 2, very similar. Iron Man 3, very, very different take on Iron Man. Take a look at Thor 1, Thor 2 and 3, Thor 4. Like they all have a little zest from the director. So what did you expect to happen with this? We're seeing the event where the world engine is changing the world here. We're seeing that event. Interesting though that this well, from what I understand, if you see this picture here, let me see if I can get a clear picture. There's a person standing behind a kid right here. If you're watching, that's Barry Allen. He's actually That's Barry Allen in a very makeshift suit going and saving people in Metropolis while this event is going on. And we're going to see that in the events of Man of Steel with Henry Cavill Superman, with against Zod, where we saw Bruce Wayne running through and saving people, we're going to see Barry Allen doing the same thing. The only difference, the only problem is here is it kind of contradicts both Justice League films because, I've never saved anybody. I've never done this before. And, grab one, get out. Go back in, grab another, get out. He would have known to do that because he is doing this. But that's besides the point. And we see Zod. And I like how the whole Zod reveal makes you believe that Zod is going to be the main villain of this film. We know he's not going to be the main villain of this film. We should all know that. This is just the MacGuffin of sorts of the entire movie, is this one point in time, this fixed point that continues to happen, and because of what Barry has done, has changed the future for everybody, and he needs to right that point and get it back to the way it was. So that is kind of the whole idea behind the film. The villain of this movie is, we've talked about this before, so sorry if it's a little bit of a spoiler, but it's Barry. It's Barry and Time. Time and Barry are the true villains of this movie. Not our Barry Allen, but the other Barry Allen. So that's kind of a big deal. And again, we've got some great comedic moments, and it's not overly comedic. It's just the right amount of comedy to make you have a little laugh and a moment of levity before there's a big action sequence or something like that. My question is, in the 3 total, we saw a teaser and we've seen 2 trailers. We still don't understand where the bloody bat cow comes from. Obviously, it's not Ben Affleck, which it's not from his Batman. But from I've heard from people who saw the movie this past weekend, or this past week, and I kind of know some things, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But I tell you what, this movie, when you watch the trailer, and don't be one of those people that takes screenshots at every freaking second and pinpoint this is a movie. It's a moving experience. You have to take it all in while it's moving. Some directors are able to get great shots, great still shots, great cinematographers. Like, this is a great shot there. Yet people were just complaining, oh, it's not like Zack Snyder. It's a different director. Like, my goodness. Like, allow the artistic integrity of these other directors. Allow them to do what they were hired to do. Yeah, this is going to be a great film. The question is it going to break $1 billion? My belief, and this is April 27th, with the positive word that is coming out about this movie, with all the excitement that film critics and pundits and movie theater owners are saying about this movie, it's going to be a success. How big of a success is going to determine how they market this movie. And so far, they've done really, really well in marketing this movie because they're focusing on nostalgia when it comes to Batman. They're making sure to point out, look, this is a Flash movie. This is the Flash. Look at this shot. This shot right here. Obviously, the Batwing and the moon. We've seen it before in 1989 Batman. Again, nostalgia. You're seeing something familiar, and it allows you to get excited about it. And that, my friends, that is why you should be excited about this movie, because it's going to be excellent. Go enjoy yourself. Don't go to this movie thinking, well, what's the point of seeing this movie if we're not going to get a Flash 2? Or we're not going to get the continuation of this story. What's the point? That isn't the point of going to see any movie, ever. You go and see a movie for what the movie is. So go enjoy the movie. Go enjoy it. For those of you who are saying, I'm boycotting it, I'm not going to go see it because I want to hurt James Gunn. Well, you're dumb. You're an idiot. James Gunn didn't write, didn't direct, didn't produce. He wasn't part of this damn movie at all. So not seeing this, the success or failure of this movie does not affect the new DCU. Not in any way, shape, or form. It does not affect them. So to sit there and act like not seeing it is going to hurt James Gunn, well, that's just a dumb way of thinking. No reason to think like that. Let me know your thoughts. I want to know your thoughts in the comments on the Flash trailer. A lot of good talk is coming out about this. People are excited. I'm excited. I think it's going to be great. I hope it's great. Oh, man. All right. So, Mr. James Gunn this week decided to say some things that kind of angered some people. He had an interview with The Hollywood Report. Obviously, we know James Gunn right now is promoting and pushing and getting ready for the release of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So obviously, he's doing the interview rounds. Here's the thing. Obviously, he's going to get asked about the DCU. And most importantly, and more specifically, he's going to get asked about Superman Legacy. And he goes, I completely relate to Superman because he's everything I am. He's somebody who is an outsider, who feels like an alien, but also the ultimate insider. Because he's fucking Superman. And people are losing their minds. Now, I did a whole entire video about this just the other day. So you can find that video over on my Rumble or YouTube channel. Here's the thing. The thing about it is there's no reason to get mad at him. He's not saying he is Superman. He's not saying that Zoe, shh. Shush. He's not saying that he is, this super being. No, he is relating to him because he's an outsider. He's an alien. He feels like an outsider. Who are you? Who are you to sit there and say how somebody feels? That's the craziest thing. Most of you Snyder boys out there are leftists who sit there and act like somebody's feelings are the most important thing in the world. Yet when somebody tries to say that they feel something that you don't agree with, you turn it around and it's a negative. His remarks on he relates to Superman because he's an outsider who feels like an alien, but also the ultimate insider because he's fucking Superman. And he's saying Yes, he feels like an outsider. People are afraid of what he's going to do with the DCU. People are afraid of what he's planning. There's no real need to, because he's not going to do anything bad. But he is the insider. He knows what's coming. He understands who he is and what's going to be coming. And it's because of who he is. Does that make sense to you? I just think people get a little overly excited when it comes to James Gunn anymore. And it's a real shame, because he's not a bad guy. He's a good guy. He really is. You know, we see people posting "fire James Gunn" constantly. And to me, there's just no reason for it. No reason. He hasn't done anything that warrants him to be fired. Oh, but he fired Henry Cavill. No, first off, he didn't fire Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill didn't have a contract. Henry Cavill screwed Henry Cavill. The old Warner Brothers regime screwed Henry Cavill. The two of them could not meet on an agreement and a deal. Not James Gunn. James Gunn was hired to write a new Superman movie because Henry Cavill refused to sign a new deal with Warner Brothers. And that's his right. That is his right to do. It is his right to say yes or no to any deal. It's his right to request X amount of money. But here's the thing. He didn't sign one. So when James Gunn came in, he had the choice. Do I make my Superman movie that I was tasked to write an older Superman? Or do I go with the direction that I wanted to go with and make a younger Superman? It's not James Gunn's fault that Henry Cavill's not there. I tell you, sometimes people just freak out on emotion. Don't think, just go off of emotion. I get it. I've done it. I've done it too. It's just crazy to me, though. It really, truly is crazy to me. Well, let me know your thoughts. I want to know what you guys think about James Gunn. What do you think about what he has been doing? What do you think about his remarks about being Superman? Again, I don't see any problem with it. I think it's fine. I don't know why. I don't know why people act like there has to be a problem with it. There just doesn't. Let me know in the comments. I think we're going to wrap it up here tonight, guys. Shorter show. You said I just wasn't feeling it. I had a headache all day. I'm exhausted. Didn't have much. I wanted to talk about the SnyderCon or a full circle event. Things done a little bit. Make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, share this with your friends, family. I want 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. I'm gonna say end of May, like 33 days. 33 days. If I get 4 subscribers, 5 subscribers a day, something like that. What would that be? 4 subscribers, 4.5 subscribers a day for the next 30 some days. We'll hit it. Let's do it. Tell your mom, dad, aunts, uncles, grandmas, grandfathers, nieces, nephews. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening, watching. Again, we're now on Rumble. I see there's some people watching on Rumble today, so thank you so much for watching. For those of you over on YouTube that watch, thank you so much for watching. Find us on all the podcatching apps as well. If you don't have video or you're late to the party, can't watch us live, we are live every single Thursday. Every single Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. So jot that down in your book so you never forget. Book? Who has a book today? Put it in your phone. Put it as a reminder in your phone. There we go. All right, guys. With all that said, thank you so much. Make sure you scan that QR code to find all of our links for everything. And with all that said, I'll talk at all of you later.